Good afternoon, guys. We're gonna start in a few minutes, so waiting for a few more people to join. Do you have any questions so far? Sorry, there was confusion about this class. It was apparently it was in my portal was saying it is on Thursday, 12:35 to 2:20, but apparently it is on Tuesday, 12:35 to 2:20. So I corrected the date and time for the classes on the shell, and also I put the Zoom link for you guys. I updated the Zoom link so that you guys can join. You already joined, quite a few of you guys, and also I uploaded 2 YouTube video on the 2 lecture which you guys probably missed. So, any questions? All right, so I just want to make sure that you guys know that you have a quiz every week. Okay, so you probably know. You definitely need to look at the lecture, the first week lecture and second week lecture, which I posted in the announcement. So you have it in announcement of the course. And look at the quiz, basically access code and other stuff. Okay, make sure you take the quiz. And you have a quiz every week, basically, okay? I just want to show you, I'm just going to share my screen and then show you some course material stuff, okay? Any questions? No question. I'm just going to show you my screen and just go over a little bit of course material so that you guys are a little bit familiar what we're going to do, okay? All right, so here in the course shell, if you go to the course shell, first of all, you can see the course schedule is here, right? Tuesday, 12:35 to, sorry, this is going to be 2:20, 12:35 to 2, around 2 p.m., okay? So that's going to be the course schedule. So you can find weekly content. If you just go to the weekly content, you can see weekly content for the course. And we are in week 3, okay? So week 3, you can just click it, and you see all this stuff. So we're gonna cover this today, basically all the functions today. And at the end of the weekly content, you have quiz 2 access code and quiz 2 itself, basically. And quiz 2, you have 5 days to do the quiz 2. Basically, you have until this Sunday. Let me just open up the calendar. Yes, until Sunday midnight, you will have time to do the quiz 2, okay? So each quiz, I believe, is going to be 3 to 5% of your final mark. So make sure you do the quiz, okay, guys? And the quiz access code for this quiz is going to be here. So 130277, that's going to be quiz access code for this week's quiz, okay? Any questions? All right, if you don't have any question, I'm just gonna, the way I teach this course, I'm just gonna show you some training video about each of the tools in Excel. And then I will open up my Excel file itself for this week. And basically we follow what we learn. Basically we practice what we learn in the video, okay? So I'm gonna, without further ado, I'm gonna do that, okay? I'm just gonna unshare my screen, share my screen with the videos, the video audio basically, because when I play video, you can hear my audio, okay? So I'm just gonna have to do that. So basically I have to basically unshare and share again with my computer audio so that you can hear what the video says, and then we go from there, okay? All right.
When you need to find information in a large spreadsheet, or you're always looking for the same kind of information, use the VLOOKUP function. VLOOKUP works a lot like a phone book, where you start with a piece of data you know, someone's name, in order to find out what you don't know, their phone number. So as an example, I'll enter part numbers, the thing I know, and find out prices, the thing I don't know. To do that, I'll click the cell where I want to see the prices. I'll enter an equal sign, VLOOKUP, and parentheses. These parentheses will contain a set of arguments, and an argument is just a piece of data that the function needs in order to run. I'll enter H2 as the first argument because that's where I'll type the part numbers. Follow that with a comma, and then I'll enter the range of cells that contains the data I want to search. That's this block of data here. The part numbers start in cell B3, and if I scroll down, you can see the status values end at cell E52. So I'll enter B3, a colon, and E52, then I'll type another comma. And you need to do that because the functions won't work without the colons and commas. Next, I'll type the number 3. This tells VLOOKUP that the values I want to see are in the third column from the left in the range of cells I want to search. In other words, it's the third column over from the part numbers, the data I know. Another comma, and I enter false because that gives me an exact match between part number and price. And don't worry, I'll explain how that works later. When I press enter to tell Excel I'm done, you can see I get an error message because I haven't entered a value in cell H2. But when I enter a part number, I get a price. So what just happened? I told Excel, here's a value in the left-hand column of my data. Now look through this range of cells, and in the third column to the right, find the value on the same row. A lot like a phone book. So up next, I'll explain each of the arguments, the values inside the parentheses, along with rules for using VLOOKUP. If you need to, you can look up values on more than one worksheet in a workbook. As an example, we downloaded some website data from a database, and the first sheet has page numbers for the site pages and the hits on each page. The second sheet also has the page numbers plus the page names. VLOOKUP can help me aggregate this data so I can see page IDs, names, and hits in one place. I'll start here on the Pages tab because it gives me two of the function's arguments. First, I see the page names are listed in column B, the second column over. This is what I want VLOOKUP to find, the answers I want to see, so my column reference argument is 2. Also, I know I want to find the page name that matches a given page number. That data starts in cell A2 and ends in cell B39, so A2 to B39 is my lookup table argument. Now I'll go to the Page Views tab, enter a couple headings, and my function. Equal sign, VLOOKUP, open parentheses, and F2 is my lookup value because that's where I'll enter the page IDs. Next, I enter pages, the name of the other tab, an exclamation point, then my lookup table, a comma, and my column reference. In other words, the lookup table argument is now the name of the worksheet, the exclamation point, and the range of cells I want to search. Because I need exact matches, I'll enter false as my range lookup argument, press enter to finish the formula, and you can see I get an error message because the formula wants a value in cell F2. So I'll copy a page ID here, paste it, and now I know how many hits National Page News 2 received. And to do this again, press Escape to clear the marquee, copy another page number, paste it, and you see another page name. And so next I'll show you how to use absolute cell references in VLOOKUP formulas. They're how you copy the formula down a column.
All right, so okay, so you learn how to basically work with VLOOKUP. Okay, so VLOOKUP basically, if you're looking up on something in your table, you can use the VLOOKUP. For example, in one column you want to put. So this is my table. Okay, so this is the table which I generated from the first week. I'm trying to basically play with the same table for all the classes. Okay. And in this table, we have basically some columns that are one of them: last name, date of hire, gender, salary, and so on and so forth. And then now you want to make a VLOOKUP. Basically, you want to make a lookup table, so that as soon as I give the employee name here, it's spit out the salary for me. Okay, so employee name is going to be here, and the salary is going to be here. Okay, so that's what we're working right now together. Okay, so how can I do that? Okay, so I can do that with this with VLOOKUP. Okay, so I said salary equal to VLOOKUP. Okay, and it's automatically is giving me VLOOKUP. As soon as I open a parenthesis, it's going to say lookup value. What do you want to look up? What do you want to look up? Okay, what do you want to look up is going to be employee name. So it's going to be clicking here. That's going to be employee name. That's what I'm looking up. Okay, and then table array. In which table are you looking up in that name? Okay, so you have to say which table. You have to include the salary also in that table as well. So okay, so you're gonna say I'm gonna look up. You can either put the first column, first row here, or you can start from here. So you say all this table. I just wanna look at all this table. Okay, so you said okay, I'm looking at D25, which is gonna be employee name, and I'm looking at this table C6 to L22. So 6 is gonna be Mr. Baldwin. And L22 is going to be 3144, which is going to be unit registration, something like that. Okay, so you're going to say I'm looking for D25 in this table, and as soon as I find that D25 in that table, for example, if you're looking for Mr. Akhtar or Mrs. Akhtar, so the Mrs. Akhtar is going to be here. Okay, as soon as I find her, okay, I'm going to look at the third column, 1, 2, 3, 4. This fourth column is going to be salary, right? I'm going to look at the fourth column, okay? And whatever it is there, for example, Mr. Akhtar, 1, 2, 3, 4. Whatever it is there, which is going to be 90,000, you're going to spit it out. And then at the end, you have to put false. The reason that we put false here, it means that you're looking at exact match, okay? If not exact match, then you can put a 2, okay? But false, it's going to be exact match. So if I press enter, it's going to be not applicable because I still don't have any value for D25. Let's say D25, I put again the Mrs. Akhtar there. Mrs. Akhtar is going to be here, and as soon as I put the Mrs. Akhtar there, it's going to spit out $90,000, right? So as I said, it's going to spit out the fourth column, 1, 2, 3, 4. As I said, 1, 2, 3, 4. As soon as she find the lookup find the Mrs. Akhtar is going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Find the fourth column because we put it here and we look up, right? Fourth, with fourth, we see fourth. Look at the fourth column. As soon as it finds the D25 in the table, it's going to go look at the fourth column of the range which are given to the VLOOKUP. Okay, the range which I give it is I give it the table, which is going to be table of let's say 16 row and how many column? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 column. So 16 row, 10 column. It's going to look at the fourth column for that. As soon as it finds D25 is Mrs. Akhtar. Okay, so let's look at the other one. So let's look at the bar, Mr. Bar. Okay, let's put Mr. Bar here instead of Mrs. Akhtar. Sorry, so let's put this Mr. Bar here instead of Mrs. Akhtar. Let me just I don't know how to. Okay, so enter. All right, so okay, so let's put the Mrs. Bar here. Bar, how do you write it? Bar. And enter $66,000, right? So it's going to be the salary of Mr. Bar is going to be $66,000, right? So like this, okay? So that's how we basically use VLOOKUP to look for basically an information for entry of the basically of the table. So now it's very interesting for myself as well. Let's do something else. Let's do, instead of employee name, let's put an age and see whether we can find the salary for that age. Okay, that's going to be very interesting. So I haven't done it before, so it's just I have some curiosity here. So put age here. I don't think anything is going to be changed in the table. This is experimental, guys. I don't recommend you to do it. Okay, because I just wanna know. If I put, for example, 44 and a half is going to be the age of Mrs. Albouk, right? So 44 and a half. Let's see whether it works. I don't know whether it's going to work, but let's see. 44 and a half, not applicable. Yeah, okay. So I need to put basically, what's that? Value not available. So yeah, probably we need to put just the first name there. So the first column probably is going to be, yeah, probably it's going to be first column. So as I said, it's just experimental. I'm experimenting similar to you guys. So it looked like the VLOOKUP is only looking at the first, basically the first column of the table, and then spit out the third one. Okay, so in this case, I didn't put the number. The number was here, was in fifth column. Doesn't look like it can find whatever you have in fifth column. For example, if I change the columns here, let's do another experiment. Okay, let's change this column with this column. Okay, date of hire and last name. Okay, let's just keep this guy copy. I don't know how to do that actually. So let's do that. Let's do this way. Okay, let's copy these guys. It's going to be hard to do it, I believe, but let's keep it here and then just copy these guys and keep it here. Okay, and now keep these guys from here and put it here. Okay, and now just remove this guy and then copy this guy, put it here, and then copy this guy, put it here, and then copy this guy, put it here. Okay, so now we have different table, right? So let's again do the same thing like Mr. Akhtar. Put it here, Mr. Akhtar, and see what we're gonna get. Okay, so that's gonna be the same error. Okay, so this means that only the VLOOKUPs only look at the first column and find the value of D25 and then spit out the fourth column or fifth column. Okay, so we can't do this way. Okay, so I'm just going to undo everything that we did until now. So basically, that's a good lesson. So we understand that that basically VLOOKUP is only looking at the first column, see whether it can find the hit of D25. In this case, it's Mr. Bar. Find it here and then spit out the fourth column. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be $66,000. Okay. All right. Any questions? All right. No question. We're going to learn the new stuff. Okay. The new topics. Okay. All right. I'm just going to mute myself. I'm going to mute myself and learn the stuff, the new topic.
SumIfs lets you test multiple conditions and return a value based on those conditions. For this example, we're showing how many bananas Tom sold. Select a cell. Type =, SumIfs, open parenthesis. Select the sum range. Add a comma. Select the first range. Add a comma. Select criteria. Add a comma, select the second range. Add a comma, select Criteria. Add a right parenthesis and select Enter. To apply the same formula on a different condition, choose another option.
All right, so what we learn here is basically sum if, and basically what the sum if does, basically sum over basically the column that you're interested in. Okay, I'll put the question here. What is the total salary of male employee in 4509 department? Okay, so what's the total salary of male employee 4509 department? It's going to be so you remember the sum if, right? So this is sum if s. So the difference between this and sum if is sum if you only have one condition, and then you sum over the entries on one condition. In this case is multiple conditions. So sum if you can give as many conditions as you want. So basically equal to sum if s, open parenthesis. So what's going to be the sum range? All right, what basically you want to sum, okay? So what you want to sum, for example, total salary of male employee in 4509 department. So basically you want to have total salary. So the range is going to be from here to here, okay? That's going to be a sum range. So it's going to be salary. And then criteria range 1. So the criteria range 1, you want to make those employee all male, okay? So basically you say gender, which is going to be this guy, yeah, and you're going to be male. Sorry guys, I had to go here again, up there, male, and what's going to be the department? Department is going to be 4509. Okay, so department, you either can do just department or just select the cell range. Okay, and that's going to be another 4509. Okay, so and then enter. Okay, let's see what's wrong here. Department. Okay, that's department. Okay, all right, enter. So it's going to be total salary for all male employee and in 4509 department. Okay, so that's going to be how the sum if work. Okay, so you don't need to put just the salary. You can just put the cell range. Okay, so you just select all the range in the cell. Okay, and then you can do that as well. So in this case, because I select all those guys, because I select all those guys, then it's automatically spit out the salary for me. Okay, but if I just don't put it like all of them together, just put, for example, from let me just remove this, and then I put it from this guy to this guy. Okay, if I put it like this, then probably you're going to get some error as well, because the size are not the same. So size of F1 to F22 is going to be here to here is not the same as size of gender, and it's not the same as size of department. That's why it give me error. So the gender is going to be basically E2 to E22. Okay, so I need to basically come here, remove this, put it E2 to E22. And then in the department, also I need to basically remove this and put from H2 to H22. Okay, so that's how it's going to work. Okay, so basically that's how it works. It's going to work. It's basically total salary. You basically need to have the you need to have all the ranges for the thing which you're going to be looking up. Going to be the same. Okay, but if I add basically here, if I add come here and add this guy, like I select all of them together until here. Oops, sorry guys, what did I do here? Yeah, okay, so just remove, let me remove just this one, and then just add the guys from top to bottom. Oops, it's still not gonna give me error, but it automatically knows that I'm looking at the salary column, so it automatically spit out the salary for me. Okay, same for each E7 to E22. So I can just go here and select it to this, and as soon as I don't even need to click in enter. It's automatically spit out the gender, and H7 to H22. That's going to be department. It's going to be here to here. Okay. As soon as I select the last row, is gonna speed up the department here. Okay. That's going to be department, and then enter. It's going to be sum if. Okay. The average if is going to be this very similar to sum if. Okay. So there is no video on average if. Okay. Let me see. Okay. All right. There's no video on average if. I'm kind of suspicious. Are you guys hearing me? Yeah, for sure you're gonna hear me. All right, that's okay. All right. Anyway, so yeah, so average if have a very similar structure as sum if. So that's going to be equal to. That's going to be equal to average if. Okay. Open range. What's the range? So basically, so here we want to find what's the average salary for female employee in 4308 department. Okay, it is very similar to other one. This is only we use average if s. Sorry, has to be average if s. Don't forget it. If you check in multiple criteria, if you have multiple criteria, make sure you use average if s rather than average if and sum if s rather than sum if. Okay, average if s, and it's going to be open. So the average is going to be basic. So what are you looking to average? You want to average the salary. Okay, so you go from here to here. So that's going to be the first argument. Okay, so I automatically have to put I ended the after I select the last row here, it automatically spit out the salary here. Okay, so you don't need to be worried about this. And then now, so what we are checking is female. So you need to know, we need to make sure that the gender of the person which we are taking the average is female. So we put gender, okay. Or we can select the cell range, okay. It doesn't really matter. So, and then female. And the last thing you want to check is department, which is going to be department. Automatically, it's going to speed up for you as well. So department, you can double click on it. So, and what's going to be department? You make sure you put the double quote there, guys, because if you put just a number, I'm not sure how it works. Probably it works for the numbers, but for the letters, you definitely need to put double quote there. Okay, department is going to be 4308. 4308. That's going to be the department. Okay. And enter. Okay, so that's going to be the average salary for female employee in 4308 department. Okay, $69,000. Okay, so that's how it goes. That's how it works. The contif and average if. Sorry, not contif. Sum if s and average if s is going to work. Okay. All right. So sum if s and average is going to work in this. Okay. All right. Any questions? All right. I'm gonna stop sharing again, sharing my the other topics as well. Okay.
To determine the number of salespeople by region who have 50 or more orders, we use the COUNTIFs function. First, we select the region cell range, and I press F4 to make this an absolute cell reference. Then we select the criteria it needs to meet. In this case, the region is East. Then we select the cell range for the number of orders and the criteria it needs to meet, greater than or equal to 50, in cell G2. I'm using a cell reference for the criteria
instead of hard coding it into the formula so that I can easily change it if I want to. In the East region, there is one person with 50 or more orders. Let's walk through this. First, the function evaluates how many cells in the region cell range, B2 through B7, are equal to East. In this example, there are two, Bob and Sue. Of these two, it then evaluates how many have orders greater than or equal to 50, cell G2. In this case, it's just Bob. COUNTIFs applies criteria to cells across multiple ranges and counts the number of times all criteria are met. This is the syntax of the COUNTIFs function. Criteria range 1 is required. It's the first range that's evaluated. Criteria 1 is required. It's the criteria by which criteria range 1 is evaluated. Criteria range 2, criteria 2, and so on are optional. Each additional range must have the same number of rows and columns as criteria range 1, but they don't have to be adjacent to each other. You can use the question mark and asterisk wildcard characters in criteria. Now we want to determine the sales by region where the salesperson has 50 or more orders. We can do this with the SUMIFS function. First, we select the range of cells we want to add. In this case, the range of cells in the sales column. I press F4 to make this an absolute cell reference. Next, we select the first cell range we want to evaluate, the 4 regions in the regions column. Then, we select the criteria that the range will be evaluated by. In this case, East, cell F2. Then we select the range of cells for the number of orders and the criteria, greater than or equal to 50, in cell G2. In the East region, the total sales by sales reps with orders greater than or equal to 50 is $49,017. Let's walk through this. It's similar to the COUNTIFs function. First, the function evaluates how many cells in the region column's range of cells are equal to East. There are two. Bob and Sue are the salespeople for the East region. Of these two, it then evaluates how many have orders greater than or equal to 50. For East, it's just Bob. Lastly, the function adds the cells from the range of cells in the sales column where all the corresponding criteria are met. Bob is the only salesperson from the East region to meet all of the criteria, so the results of the function is Bob's sales figure. SUMIFS adds the cells in a range that meet multiple criteria. This is the syntax of the SUMIFS function. Sum range is required. It's one or more cells to sum. Blank and text values are ignored. Criteria range 1 is required. It's the first range that's evaluated. Criteria 1 is required. It's the criteria by which criteria range 1 is evaluated. Criteria range 2, criteria 2, and so on are optional. Each cell in the sum range argument is summed only if all the corresponding criteria specified are true for that cell. Each criteria range argument must contain the same number of rows and columns as the sum range argument. You can use the question mark and asterisk wildcard characters in criteria. Up next, the average ifs and if-err functions.
All right, guys. So we learned the contif. Let's do contif together, okay? So I put a question here and said, find number of female employees in 4372 department, okay? So let's do that, okay? So find number of female employees in 4372 department. So it's gonna be equal to, so when it said number of means that how many entry exists, okay? And then that means you have to use CONTIF, okay? So CONTIF S, because there are two criteria. One is female, the other one is 4372 department, right? So it has to be CONTIFs, okay? So what's criteria range number one? That's going to be gender. So that's going to be gender. So basically, you select all the genders here. I'm just going to put my mouse over there so that I can continue with that. And then what's going to be gender is going to be female. And then criteria range 2, that's going to be department 4372. So that's going to be basically department, which is 4372. And that's going to be department. And then we want to select, oops, what happened here? Yes, I have to go here again. 4372. That's going to be department number, okay? And enter. That's going to be only 2 female employee at 4372 department. 4372 has 1 female, 4372 has 1 male, 4372 has another female. So there's going to be 2 female employee in 4372 department. Okay, any questions? All right, so let's watch another video together. This is about the subtotal, okay? All right, guys, I can't find any video. It looks like there is no video on subtotal, but I can explain you how to do the subtotal function. Okay, so in subtotal function, basically you. Oh, sorry. So let me share my screen one more time. This is has to be. All right. So in subtotal function, basically what you do, basically you basically do some sort of function. So it's going to be a function num, which I'm going to explain later. So it could be sum, could be average, could be division, and so on and so forth, and on a bunch of different references, cells. Okay, so how does it work? Basically, it means that so let's go for an example here. Okay, so in this case, we want to basically subtotal F4 to F17. Basically with 1. Okay, so basically, okay, so okay, let me just explain you what it is. So basically, okay, so in subtotal, you choose which function you wanna do. Okay, so there are a bunch of functions. Okay, 11 type of function. You can do average, you can count A, max, mean, product, standard deviation, sum, variance, and variance P, which means variance sample. And then on any cells that you want to do. Okay, so it's going to be on any cells that you wanna do. You can do subtotal. Okay, so basically subtotal For example, let's do that in our table. Okay, let's do first of all. Let's so what's the question is find total salary paid to top 5 earning employee. Okay, so total salary is going to be basically it's going to be sum, right? So total salary, right? So we want to use subtotal with 9. Okay, and what's a range? Okay, so now let's do that. Okay, so it's going to be subtotal. Yeah, so it's going to be is selected already. And now is the function and reference. Okay, function is going to be 109. It's going to be sum, right? And now the references, now the tricky part. So you want to say find top 5 earning employees. So for that, you need to convert this range of the cells to a table. Okay, so or you basically want to do data. Sorry, do a data. What's happening? Oh yeah. So okay, let me just close this first for a second, and then I will get back to this. Okay. So basically, we wanna select this cell and go filter. And as soon as we would filter, then we can basically filter all these records. And if I go there to salary, I have to sort it from largest to smallest. When I do sort it from largest to smallest, so there I will find top 5 earning. This is going to be Mrs. Baldwin, Mrs. Albuq, Mrs. Barbario, and so on and so forth. All going to be women, okay, ladies, okay. So that's basically there are 5 top earning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a 5 top earning female employees here, okay. And then basically we come here, we say C5, basically, okay, so basically what we learn is we need to do subtotal. Okay, so now we say which one do you want to do it? Basically, it's going to be top 5 earnings. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's going to be it. And close parenthesis. It's going to give you $473,000. Okay, and if you want to do average for those salaries, okay, let's go back again. Average for top earning, 5 top earning, instead of 109, we can put 101. 101 is going to give average for top earning salaries. Okay, so it's got 94,600. And if you can play with different kinds. If you want to find the max, it's going to be 104. So let's go back again and say 104, please. That's going to be max. It's going to be 100,000, and so on and so forth. So basically, subtotal is a function within functions. So you have sum, average, division, max, mean, standard deviation, variation, and so on and so forth. Sometimes it's more handy than just using the function itself. So you have few functions in one function called subtotal. Okay. Okay. So that's it. Any questions? All right, let's learn the next topic, okay, together.
Need to see the exact or closest position of a value in a row, column, or table in Excel? Use the match function to find it. Choose a cell outside your data to put your formula in. Under Formulas, select Lookup and Reference, Match. There are 3 fields to fill. Lookup value is the value you want to find. This is usually text or a number. Lookup array is the range of cells or values you want to search in. Match type is how Excel matches lookup value with what's specified in lookup array. This field is optional, but it can only be 3 values. 1 finds the largest value that's less than or equal to lookup value. 0 shows the first value equal to lookup value. Or -1, which finds the smallest value greater than or equal to lookup value. Add your search values and select OK. You can also find the relative position of a number. For example, one that's closest to 60.
Sort your data in the order you want. And then create a new formula and adjust the match type. And you get the closest value. You got it.
All right, so that's the video for match. Let's do couple practice for match. Let me just go for the index as well, so that we get both of them together. So I just don't want to repeat the same thing again. So let's watch the video for index, and then I will explain index and match in one shot. Okay. All right, so it looks like we don't have an index video, but anyway, that's fine. So I can explain you what's going to be the index function. Let me just share my screen one more time. Okay, so the index. So you understand what's a match, though, right? So match, basically you give it a one-dimensional array, okay, and in that one-dimensional array, the match is going to find the entry which you're looking for, okay. That's going to be the match function, and the entry is going to basically return the indices of that entry. Okay, so index function, basically what index function does, you basically say within this cell, which is going to be how many, like 9 by 3, right? 1, 2, 3 column and 9 row. Okay, so look for 4 and 2. And what does 4 and 2 means? Means look for 1, 2, 3, 4 row and 2 column, 1, 2 column. So it's going to be the 6792. That's going to be basically the this is going to be basically the number which going to be spitted out of the function. Basically, index basically is you give the range to the index, okay, and say I'm looking at 4th row and 2nd column. So 4th row and 2nd column is going to be 6792, and it's going to spit out for you the 4th row and 2nd column. Okay. So that's how it's going to work. The index function is going to work. Okay. So let's go back now. I have an example for you guys here. So it's going to be, so you understand what's the match, and you understand what's the basically the other guy, right? So yeah, so match and the index. Okay, so now you can mix them together. Okay, so how can you mix them together? Okay, so for example, here you want to know what's the age of Miss Albuk, right? So you want to know what's her age, okay? So you can use basically index and match function, okay? So how can you do it? Basically, let's remove the filter here. So how can you do it here? Basically, you say I'm looking for so first of all, let's do match F26. F26 is going to be this guy, right? So F26, it's going to be this guy looking for C5 to C to L5. So basically looking at this guy and see what's the match. Match here is going to be the age. Okay, so we want to look at this row, the front row, the fifth row, right? Last name, date of hire, gender, salary, age, department, and so on and forth. So forth. We want to look at this row, look at exact match, which is going to be age. Okay, so age is going to be basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to be 5. Okay, 5 is going to be basically the number which is coming out of this this match function. Okay, let me do it separately. Okay, so equal to match. Okay, and open parenthesis. Lookup value is going to be the age, which is going to be this guy. Yeah. And what are you looking at? We're looking at the first row, last name, date of hire. So that's going to be from C5 to, let's say, M5, okay? From C5 to M5, and then match type. Match type is generally 0, okay? So that's going to be, when I enter, that's going to be, it's going to say 5. And what the 5 means, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's age, right? So that's what the speed at. So you basically give an array and ask where did that phrase happen in that array. So it said the 5th one happened, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's basically give you the number of column basically that occurrence happened, and then now you do another match. You're looking at the name, so I'll book, right? So you do equal to match again, and that's going to be Miss Albook. And then which cell you're looking for? You're looking for here to here, okay? And 0, enter. So it's going to be 2. So basically, our book is going to be second in this vector, in this array. Okay. So now if you do index the whole table, right? C6 to L22. It's going to be whole table, right? That's the whole table. That's going to be index. Okay. So let me just go back here. So if I do, okay, let me just remove this actually. So remove this and say I wanna index the whole thing, okay? And then say I wanna find the map. Oops, sorry. So what did I do here? All right. Oh my God. Anytime I do this, it's give me another trouble actually. So okay. So let's do that. Okay. So it's here. I think it was here. All right. So let's do index from here to here, yeah, enter, okay? So if I do index, means inside this table, which is from here to here, look at the match, look at the row, which is coming equal to all book. So that's going to be second row, right? And looking at the so second row is here, right? The match, that's phrase, match. And look at the column, basically, which is, and look at the column which come of the age. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the column is going to be 5 and the row is going to be 2. So look at the second column, second row and the 5th column. That's going to be 44.5. Spit out 44.5. So that's how index and match works. So, okay. So basically, you can also change this to anything else, right? Just change it to department probably. And enter. As soon as I enter, it's going to say, as soon as I enter, it's going to say 4308. So yeah, automatically, you know that Mrs. Albouk is going to work for, is working for 4308 department. Or I can put date of hire. Oops, sorry, date of hire, which is going to be okay, 33615. The Excel has some sort of weird way of converting date to the numbers, so that's why you don't see the date of hire of 12 of January of 92. So probably you need to change this to the date, but it's not our main concern at the moment. So we probably, and then years of service. Let's do that. Years of service. We're here, automatically spit out 16.9. So 16.9 is Miss Albouk years of service. Okay, let's do remember for Mr. Barrett. Or let's do for Mr. Anderson. So for Mr. Anderson here, Mr. Anderson years of service is going to be 16.6. Is that right, Mr. Anderson? Years of service is going to be 16.6. That's right. So vacation days for Mr. Anderson. Let's look at the vacation days for Mr. Anderson. I'm just going to copy this guy from here to here. And it's going to be 27 days of vacation days for Mr. Anderson. That's how it works. Okay, so it's very good, very handy stuff, this match and index thing. Basically you can play with it. Okay, so you can play with all the stuff which you learned today, guys. Okay, so that's That's going to be your task for today. Let's see whether any other topic we're going to cover today. So let me see whether we have something else to cover today. All right. So transpose, I already taught you guys in the last lecture. So if you look at the video of lecture 2, you will see the transpose. Okay. Also nested if functions. I already taught it in the previous lecture, so I'm not gonna cover it anymore. Okay, so yeah, so I think that's what we're gonna cover today. That was a little bit shorter than usual, but that's what we covered today. So as I said, it's more important that just go to access code, get your access code for quiz 2, and you have only 5 days to do the quiz 2. Okay. And that's going to be, let me see how many percentage of your final mark is going to be your quizzes. So let's go to course schedule, go to schedule for summer, open this guys up and see. Okay, so weekly quizzes, best 6 of 7, 25%, the lowest mark from all your quizzes will be dropped. So basically you have 7 quizzes, you take all the 7s, and best of 6 is gonna count toward your final mark, and your final mark has 25%. So let's say each one has almost 4% of your final mark. So make sure you don't miss any quizzes. If you miss one quiz, it's still fine because you still have 6 quizzes. You're gonna be marked based on 6 quizzes, but best of 6 out of 7s. Okay, so that's gonna be how your quiz is gonna be. How your quiz is going to be basically counted. Okay, that's all I wanted to say, I think, today. Any questions? You guys all very muted, so I hope you could hear me, you could see my videos and so on and so forth. I hope you were not just the and I hope this meeting, meeting is recorded already. So, all right. So any question, guys? All right, no questions. So I will see you guys next week then, okay? All right, if you don't have any questions. All right, guys, next week. See you guys next week. Bye.